That's the one and only Stevie Nicks, whose songs have touched the lives of millions, both for her work with Fleetwood Mac and for her solo career.
Stevie Nicks, the iconic voice of Fleetwood Mac, has never hesitated to speak her truth, especially when it comes to her deeply layered and often painful history with her former lover and longtime bandmate, Lindsey Buckingham. Their partnership as musicians was nothing short of legendary, but behind the curtain, their personal relationship was riddled with tension. Even decades later, the complexities of their bond continued to captivate fans. In a recent revelation, Stevie opened up about one particular trait of Buckingham's that she found unbearable, offering a rare and honest glimpse into a relationship that helped define some of rock's most unforgettable songs before Fleetwood Mac skyrocketed to international fame. Stevie and Lindsey had already built a strong personal and musical foundation, performing as the duo Buckingham-Nicks in the early 1970s. They spent those formative years chasing success together. Their growing chemistry in the studio mirrored their romantic connection. However, even then, their love was showing signs of strain. In 1975, when they both joined Fleetwood Mac, their lives and their relationship changed forever. What started as a fresh chapter for the band quickly transformed into a high-stakes journey filled with fame, pressure, and deeply personal challenges. Stevie and Lindsey's bond brought an undeniable energy to Fleetwood Mac, sparking a creative revival that helped redefine the band's sound. Yet with this creative spark came emotional volatility. From the outset, it was clear that their working styles were destined to clash. Lindsey was meticulous, a perfectionist to the core. He obsessed over every musical detail. Stevie, on the other hand, thrived in a more instinctive, free-flowing process. Their differences were creatively fruitful, but emotionally draining. In a 2017 NPR interview, Stevie candidly explained, "We were two very different kinds of people." She needed room to breathe with her songwriting, while Lindsey often tried to control the process to perfection. This ongoing tension fueled both some of Fleetwood Mac's greatest hits and its most explosive conflicts. When Rumors was released in 1977, it became one of the most celebrated albums in music history. However, the songs that millions around the world came to love were actually reflections of inner turmoil and broken hearts. Lyrics written by Stevie expressed a hopeful desire to move on, while Lindsey's Go Your Own Way brimmed with anger and frustration. These weren't just songs, they were emotional statements, with fans caught in the crossfire of a public breakup told through lyrics and melody. The success of Rumors didn't heal the wounds. Instead, it marked the beginning of a long and painful period for both of them, as fame grew and touring intensified. The pressure only deepened the cracks in Stevie and Lindsey's relationship. What was once a passionate love story slowly became a source of constant tensions, something everyone in the band and even their audience could feel. Although their artistic collaborations produced magic, it came at a personal cost: the emotional burden of working so closely with someone you were no longer romantically involved with but still emotionally tethered to was immense. Their connection was celebrated worldwide, but it was also deeply exhausting. Over the years, their personal conflict became more visible, occasionally erupting into public disputes. One of the most significant turning points occurred in 2018, when Lindsey Buckingham was abruptly fired from Fleetwood Mac before their world tour. At first, the band issued polite statements, but the real story soon emerged. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Stevie revealed that an incident at the Music Cares tribute event pushed her over the edge. She described Lindsey's behavior during her speech as dismissive and disrespectful, adding that working with him was no longer enjoyable or tolerable. Lindsey, for his part, saw things differently. In an interview with the Los Angeles Times, he called the firing a coup and accused Stevie of forcing the band to choose between them. According to him, she gave an ultimatum: either he left or she would. This bitter public fallout split the fan base, with many struggling to choose sides. But this wasn't the first time their private drama had spilled into their professional lives. Their turbulent relationship had long shaped their stage performances. During the 1997 reunion tour, The emotional intensity between them was palpable. Their live rendition of Silver Springs became unforgettable as Stevie locked eyes with Lindsey while singing, "You'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loves you." The performance was iconic, but also a painful reminder of their unresolved past. Despite their shared success, Stevie often spoke of the creative struggles she faced working with Lindsey. Over time, her frustrations became impossible to ignore. One of the biggest issues she had was with his controlling behavior in the studio. While his pursuit of perfection undeniably led to many of Fleetwood Mac's most polished tracks, Stevie increasingly felt stifled both creatively and personally. In a candid interview with The Guardian, she admitted, "Sometimes it felt like he wanted to tell me who to be, not just musically but in general. It was exhausting." This emotional weight only grew heavier as their romantic relationship continued to crumble. Tensions didn't disappear with time. When Lindsey returned to the band in the late 1990s for their reunion tour, problems resurfaced almost immediately. Reports of backstage arguments circulated, and Stevie later confirmed that he often behaved in a provocative manner. Though the details of those conflicts remained mostly private, her growing exasperation was undeniable. The cycle repeated itself, brief reconciliation followed by new tensions. Stevie's breaking point wasn't a single dramatic moment. It was the cumulative effect of years of being second-guessed, dismissed, and emotionally drained. In a New York Times interview, she said it was something she ultimately couldn't stand. Despite the chaos, Stevie has never denied the musical greatness they achieved together. In many interviews, she's acknowledged that their creative partnership produced timeless art. "Despite everything, we made incredible music together," she once admitted. But she also remains honest about the pain behind that legacy. "There was always love, but we couldn't make it work." She reflected a simple but heartbreaking summary of a relationship, defined by both brilliance and heartbreak. Since Lindsey's departure in 2018, there's been little indication of reconciliation. Instead, Stevie seems to have found a measure of peace by focusing on their legacy rather than their differences. The music they made continues to inspire millions, standing as a testament to what they could create together if they couldn't sustain a healthy relationship. The emotional turbulence between Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham left a permanent mark on Fleetwood Mac's story. Their creative friction became both a powerful engine for musical innovation and a constant source of personal conflict. Albums like Rumors didn't just chart, they resonated deeply because they told the raw, real story of heartbreak, betrayal, and longing. Stevie herself once remarked that the drama between her and Lindsey was central to the band's identity, saying it was the drama that made it interesting. While that drama was undeniably compelling for fans, it also took a toll on them and on the band. Mick Fleetwood has described their relationship as both a gift and a curse. Magic into their music, but it also created tensions that frequently threatened to tear them apart. The inability to separate personal pain from professional responsibility haunted their time together. In the end, Stevie and Lindsey's story is more than just a tale of love gone wrong. It's a portrait of two artists bound together by music, passion, and unresolved emotion whose shared brilliance lit up the world even as it tore them apart behind the scene.